Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today I have a bit of a different one. I'm going to be talking a little bit about Irish culture and places in Ireland. So someone actually put in my last video and suggested that I make a video about this. Yeah, I'm surprised that someone wants to know about it because I had thought about doing videos more about Ireland, but I know that 90% of my audience are Indians and probably not many are that interested in Ireland, I thought. But yeah, I thought why not do this as well, and especially considering I'm in Ireland at the moment and it is tough to do the kind of content I want because I'm not in India yet. Yeah, I thought why not do this video. So thank you, shout out to that person who suggested it. So maybe it'll be interesting to you to find a bit more information about Ireland if you don't know anything about it. I just want a disclaimer that like in general Ireland doesn't have like this very specific culture the way India does. You know, we're more on par with like UK, Australia, America in that we all have a similar culture, if that makes sense. So don't expect too many like wow things in this. But yeah, there really is so many great things about Ireland. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this video and learn something new. So the first thing I want to start off talking about is the Irish language. Yes, we do have a language called Irish. I feel like people's perceptions of Ireland are either that Irish is our first language or we don't have like that English is our only language. But yeah, we do have an Irish language. And it's a shame because no one really speaks it here except if you go to what we call Gaeltacht regions or a Gaeltacht school, which is a specific school predominantly in the west of Ireland. They have these schools and you do everything through Irish there, all of your subjects in school and everything. So those people will naturally be fluent, but in general, no one speaks Irish on a day-to-day basis here in Ireland. It's really a shame, but I kind of put it down to our education system. Not that our education system in general is bad, obviously, but in the way that Irish is taught in schools, it's just very poor because you study it from age 5 when you start school to, 18 when you leave school, and no one ends up leaving knowing how to speak fluent Irish. Like the most we have for most people is just like basic sentences like how are you, like tá I'm sure gama, the weather is good, tá me ceart go leor, I'm okay, like just these basic sentences. And yeah, it is really a shame, and I also feel a bit shameful sometimes because I'm going out of my way to learn Hindi and learn this other language, and it's like, yeah, maybe I should learn Irish first. But the difference is I can walk down the street here in Ireland and meet hundreds and thousands of people that I can speak Hindi with, but I will probably not even meet one person that I'll be able to speak in Irish with. So that's the reality of it. But we do have an Irish language, and just like India, we were colonized by Britain. So yeah, like, and because we're such a small country, like we only have a population of like just over 5 million. So, it's like we didn't really keep that language, I guess, because of that is what I'm going to say. So number 2 about Irish culture that I'm going to chat about is Irish cuisine. Yeah, so we don't really have a cuisine or type of food specific to Ireland. Again, it's the same with like UK, US, Australia. We don't have like our own food culture. We pretty much take from other countries and like blend them and have bits of everything. And yeah, I don't really know why that is. I guess again because of Britain's influence on us, and that's what they did. So our food is pretty much the same as what you would find in the UK. A typical dinner in Ireland in a family household may be a roast dinner, which I'll put a picture of. Yeah, it's pretty much like a plate with like veg, potatoes and some sort of meat. And this would be a typical dinner in Ireland, especially like at the weekends or yeah. I do actually eat this a lot. I'm vegetarian, so minus the meat part, but like I will have like potatoes and veg. That would be a normal dinner for me on a day-to-day basis, to be honest. But honestly, like we have like influences of all cultures here. Like people would eat a lot of like Chinese food, Thai food, Indian, Italian, like pizza, pasta. So I think it's safe to say for most like Irish households, they would kind of like blend these. Like one day you might have pasta, one day you might have a roast dinner, one day you might have a stir fry, you know what I mean? And I think that a lot of households would be similar. However, we do have like 1 or 2-ish dishes that are only specific to Ireland, but people don't really eat these that much, and you'll see why. So one of them is coddle. I'll put a picture of it here, but like, oh my god, I've never had this, by the way, because yeah, well, I'm vegetarian now anyway, but it just looks vile. But it's basically like a dish made of leftovers. yeah, this is like a dish specific to Ireland. I don't even know honestly what's in it. It's like sausages and like it's just like leftover stuff. Another kind of popular thing would be stew. I don't think stew is specific to Ireland at all, but yeah, they would be quite common here. Again, like growing up you would have stew and stuff, and like if you go to tourist places in Dublin, for example, like Irish stew would be a big thing on the menu for tourists to come over and try. So again, it's like usually meat in some sort of liquid with vegetables. Yeah, like that's pretty much it. So because I have had this question before of people asking me like what dishes are in Ireland, like what kind of dishes, and I say mugs. No, I'm joking. If you know that video, you know what I'm talking about. We just don't have specific dishes, so that's the end of that conversation. So the next thing I want to talk about is personality of Irish people. Obviously this is a completely general and broad thing. Not every Irish person is like this, but I'm just giving a general overview. If you were to bracket everyone of this country into specific traits, what would that look like? This is also coming from like people I know or friends that I've had that aren't Irish, and this is what they've said about Irish people. So yeah, it's based on some facts, not just my own opinion. So Irish people in general are very, very friendly people. Like someone won't necessarily just start talking to you on the street. I don't mean friendly in that way, but like if you ask them for directions, they'll be happy to tell you. If you do go up and talk to them, they will be nice and friendly to you. So that's what I mean by friendly. They're not necessarily very, you know, like when you go to America, like people like, I don't know. Sorry, I just had to fix the blind. So Irish people in general are very friendly, and what I mean by that is they can be quite closed off and not very open or expressive, but if you do go and talk to them or ask them something, they'll be more than happy to help, and they're very friendly and like happy to, you know, reply. It's not like they'll just be really cold and like, why is this person talking to me? So in general, Irish people are very friendly, nice, kind, warm people. I would say like there's a great humour in Ireland. Like we like a lot of sarcasm, you know, what Indians call like roasting each other, like making fun of each other, or sarcasm and stuff like that. So people are just very like humorous, I would say, in that sense. You know, don't take themselves too seriously, I would say. But I think as a nation, we're also very like closed off a bit, like not too open to share stuff about ourselves. I think it can take sometimes quite a while to like really get to know an Irish person like on a deep level. Again, this is all very general, so please don't take this that I'm saying everyone's like this, but this is something that I've heard from other people. And I think it just goes back to the fact that we're like a Catholic country, and even though we're a very modern country now in many ways, there's lots of things about our country that are like behind. Like for example, abortion only became legal in Ireland in 2019, so just a few years ago, and gay marriage only came in I think 2015. So in terms of like the rest of Europe, it's quite behind in terms of its thinking. And again, not saying that about Irish people in general, but like yeah, it's just always been more of a Catholic kind of reserved country, I would say. So yeah, overall I think Irish people are just very friendly, maybe a little bit reserved until you get to know them potentially, and very funny, like humor, like a bit of banter, and just like warm people. Yeah, I'm proud to be Irish. Another thing that you could kind of define about Ireland is we do have a very, very big drinking culture. I don't think it's necessarily any different to like UK or Australia or like, you know, everywhere, I guess, drinks for the most part. But yeah, like if you see Ireland portrayed on movies or TV shows, it will always be like someone with a pint of Guinness and, you know, like a leprechaun or something, like this kind of stuff. I think it's because like when you're living here and you're brought up this way, it's drinking is just such a normal thing. For example, anyone here, if you're going out to any social gathering or meeting a friend, it's always in the pub. It's always to go for drinks. It's always in the pub. That's just the way it is. And again, I think it goes back to a little bit about like Irish people are naturally a bit more not too open, and these situations kind of bring us together, if that makes sense. And it's our way of socializing is drinking. Again, obviously I'm sure there's loads of people in Ireland that don't drink alcohol. I'm not generalizing, but yeah, people start drinking quite young here, like teenager, like 14, sometimes like 12, 13, 14, and it's just normal. It's a very normal thing here that people would drink multiple times a week, go out at the weekends, potentially multiple days a week, have a drink after work, or I don't know, like it's just there's a big drinking culture here, and I only even really like have thought about it when I went to India, because in India obviously you can only buy liquor at a liquor store. You can't buy it in like a grocery shop. There's also in general not many bars. Like bars are pretty much restaurants in many places in India. Like they're just restaurants that sell alcohol. Obviously in like bigger cities like Delhi and stuff, of course there's bars, but there's just not as many. Like here, if you walk down, you know, a street in Ireland or in Dublin, there will be so many pubs, like one after another. Like there's just so many options, so many pubs. It's just like a thing. It's just a thing here. It's just a big part of our culture is drinking, and sometimes I actually don't feel good about that myself, because I do notice that if anyone wants to meet up with you, it's always to go drinking. Yeah, it's I don't really know how to explain it, but I've definitely found at times that to be frustrating, because I don't know, it's just the norm. It like that is more the norm than going for a coffee or having your friends over to your house, or you know, having a dinner with your friends or cooking together or something, or you know, that kind of thing, which I think happens a lot in countries like India. People just socialize in any way, and it's not about kind of the activity. But in Ireland, it's like it's literally 99% of the time you're going for drinks if you want to meet your friend or socialize. So take with that what you will. There's pros and cons to it both, but I do notice that when I go to India, you just notice how much drinking is a part of your life in Ireland. And yeah, I just don't really like that sometimes. It kind of just ends up becoming a normal part of life, but it's not probably the healthiest. So yeah, like it's definitely something that when I go to India, I don't do near as much. Like I don't drink when I'm in India much. So yeah, that's pretty much the main things that I thought of when talking about Irish culture. And to talk a little bit about places in Ireland, I'm from Wexford, so it's like the southeast of Ireland. I'll put a little photo of where that is. It's in the southeast, and I live in Dublin now since I was like 18 and moved out of home for college. So I've lived in Dublin ever since, and Dublin is the capital, obviously. And yeah, it's just like there's the most to do in Dublin, but it is still a very small city. The other two main cities would be Galway and Cork, and they're in the west of Ireland. Yeah, like they're all not too dissimilar. Dublin would be the most happening place. It's important to remember that like Ireland is, yeah, it's in general a very small country, so our cities are small, and you know, for example, Cork City, there's only a couple of streets. Like it's not really what you might think when you think of a city. The rest of Ireland is quite rural, I would say, overall, because we have is it low population density? I'm not sure. Geography was a long time ago for me. What I mean is you could drive for miles and miles and miles and not see any house, any person. Like in rural areas, like it's a lot of just land and greenery. That's like a huge difference about India and Ireland, is because even if you're in the middle of nowhere in India, you will always see people. You will always see some houses or something. That's another difference. It's just the fact that like rural life in India still means you're in a village and in a community, whereas in Ireland it's much more isolated. Like there could be a house completely by itself for miles, miles, miles in the countryside, and this is a normal thing here. But yeah, my favorite place in Ireland is County Clare. It's not too far from the Cliffs of Moher. If you may have heard of the Cliffs of Moher, it's like a main tourist attraction in Ireland. It's like these massive cliffs on the coast, and it's really beautiful. But Clare is just my favorite place. I love just the Burren region, we call it, and it's just an amazing landscape, and there's so much beauty in Ireland, particularly in the west. The west is, you know, where the kind of main beauty lies in Ireland, I feel, just because you have like the Wild Atlantic Way, and you can drive like all through the coast of Ireland, and it's just stunning views, especially in the summer or like with nice weather. It's definitely like, if you're coming to Ireland, definitely take a visit to the west, to Galway, to Cork, to Clare, Kerry. There's so much to see in those areas, I feel, in terms of if you like nature and scenery. Sorry, I think it's gone really dark. But yeah, there really is so much to see here, and where I'm from in Wexford as well is amazing. If you like beaches, there's so many beautiful beaches in Wexford in particular. So definitely, if you are more into beaches, Wexford's the place to go. I'm actually going to do a video as well about like my hometown. It is a village, but not what Indians would think is a village, but that's why I actually want to do a video about it. I thought it might be interesting to talk a bit about, you know, rural life in Ireland and what that looks like. So when I go back home next weekend, I'll probably do that video and show you a bit more about, you know, my life, where I grew up, and life in Ireland. So yeah, that's pretty much this video. I've just wanted to keep it nice and quick because I know that videos blabbing on can be kind of boring and if they drag on too long, so I hope it was concise enough. But if there is anything else you want to see or know about Ireland, maybe even if you're thinking of moving here, maybe like if you're Indian thinking of moving to Ireland, I can do videos about visas and job prospects, things like this. So anything you may want to know, just drop in the comment section and I will definitely do a video about it. So thank you so much for watching and see you in my next one.